Okay. What's going on? What's going on? All right. Uh Hold on, guys. What's going on? Hope everybody's doing good today. Hope everybody doing good. Okay, cool, 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 cool. All right. Man, we're gonna have a very controversial topic today, man. Seriously, all right. Hope everybody is doing good on this Saturday night. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're rocking with your boy Wes. All right. Um, you know, we're gonna talk about today something that kind of been on my mind a little bit, right? Obviously, being in the credit space and everything like that. I wanted to go ahead and ask a question for the online audiences. Is bad credit actually worse than slavery, right? Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this particular question right here in this topic, but it's meant to it's meant to be able to go ahead and it's meant to be able to go ahead and you know create a discussion and everything like that. And I really want you guys to engage with me and everything like this, right? Because, although I don't want to minimize the tragic, horrible events of slavery and everything like that, right? It's been tragic and everything like that. However, I want to talk about the modern financial system, right? And how the modern financial systems control opportunity, mobility, and today's generational wealth, right? Although we not dealing with slavery no more, we still dealing with the problems of having bad credit, right? So for those that's tuning in, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Wes Paul, aka the Blueprint Mastermind, uh, credit and funding specialist. Have been in the game for about 4 years, have been ahead and helped hundreds of individuals be able to go ahead and build financial wealth as well as generational wealth by teaching them how to fix, build, and leverage their credit, as well as have funded over $10 million for aspiring as well as growing entrepreneurs. Uh, Quick disclaimer: everything that I talk about today is purely for entertainment purposes, not a attorney, not your tax consultant. If you're seeking tax advice or anything like that, financial advice or anything, please go ahead and consult with your tax professional. All right. Just want to get that out the way. All right. Also, really quick, man, really quick, as you saw guys seeing the screen, listen, I'm hosting a free webinar this Thursday, 7 p.m., January 15th. Please don't miss it out. Don't miss out on this. This is going to be a dope webinar where I'm going to be talking about how you can be able to go ahead and get $25,000 in funding, as well as launch your own credit and funding fintech company. All right. So definitely grab your seats, www.newageofcredit.com. I'm going to be posting the link will be broadcast in throughout today's live stream, right? So I got Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube right here, Instagram right here. All right. So let's get it cracking. So I want to ask a question, right? Right. Slavery has been around for how long? I don't know, give or take a couple hundred years or something like that. I mean, America has been around for about 250 years. Slavery predated America, but it really heightened during the slavery period of America, right? It ended, of course, in the civil rights movement and everything like that. So, slavery has been going on for quite some time. No question about that, right? But it's very, very surprising how a 3-digit number like your credit score today decides where you live, what you drive, you know, what you get paid, and also more important, it determines whether your family is ever able to build wealth or anything like that. Right? I mean, let's go ahead and put some perspective on that. Think about it, right? Because although the chains of slavery has ended, today we are being controlled by a 3-digit number that pretty much controls everything about our lives. Where you live, what you drive, what you get paid, even if you're able to ever build wealth again. And the crazy part about it, because most people are unaware about this, that freedom without financial mobility is an illusion. And a lot of us are living this illusion right here because, we are not aware of the impact of how bad credit really affects us, how bad credit really limits of the things we are able to do in today's society. Okay. Quick question. Anybody that's in today's live right now that's noticing this, whether you're watching this on live or you're watching this in recording, I want you to ask yourself this question, right? How how many of you have been denied of housing, a loan, or even had to pay thousands of dollars or more of interest or anything like that simply because of credit? I'm asking the question again. How many of you have been denied, or have you ever been denied of housing, a loan, or had to pay, hundreds or thousands of more simply because of bad credit? Mainly most of us at one point in time, right? If not right now, if you're currently doing so, right? And the reason why I asked that question is because bad credit has the economic control and bad credit restricts opportunity, and it has economic control, right? Because if you think about back in the days of slavery, the main thing about slavery, you were restricted mobility. You was restricted on how you were able to go ahead and operate and do things. But now we are controlled. We are in this day and age of 2026 where credit has that same effect on us. And that's why I say it has us living in an illusion. Financial instability is what is the new modern ball and chain that's around us, that's holding us down right now, right? Remember, I said that freedom without financial mobility is an illusion. It's an illusion, right? So before we get real deep into this topic and everything like that, because honestly, again, I'm gonna be go ahead and doing this on a daily basis and everything like that, as far as doing live streams. And normally I talk about how to build business credit, how to build your personal credit, entrepreneurship, and everything like that. But it's Saturday night, and we're not going to be on long here today. We're going to take it, we're going to make this light. So I decided to just, talk about a topic that was in my heart, right? And first of all, I want to, the question is, I want to talk about the system, just the whole credit system, just in general, right? Because if most people are aware of this, credit scores wasn't even designed for consumers in the first place. It was designed for lenders to price out risk. Okay, it was designed to price out risk, and when when credit scores was created, it was created in the sense of creating a bartering system for individuals and everything like that, right? Because back in the day, before credit was even in existence, banks and lenders, they had to determine your trustworth. They had to go off your word as far as you be whether you were trustworthy or not. Okay. So now they created this new credit system, this new which is controlled by the credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. I mean, let's put hold on, let's just put this in perspective a little bit, right? There's three companies who have a monopoly in the game. By the way, there's no competition with these companies. Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion, they actually have the market cornered. They're big to me, in my opinion. They're bigger than Apple, bigger than Nvidia, oil companies, pharmaceutical company, any tech company that's out there, can, whatever's Fortune 500 company out there, put them all together. They still cannot touch the three credit reporting agencies, because these are the three companies that control every aspect of your life, and they have no competition amongst each other. These are companies that are in bed with the government. These are companies that control every aspect of your life. These are companies that actually infringe upon our freedom without us giving the authorization for them to do so. Think about it. From the moment that you're born, right? Your data is automatically start being collected by the credit reporting agencies from the moment you become an adult, an adult, or sometimes even before then, right? You are judged by data that you don't create, you don't audit, and you can't control. These companies actually control your, well, again, every aspect of your life, where you can live, what you can drive, whether you can build wealth, where you can work at, your career path, all by a three-digit number that is used by these three companies. And we could get into the history of the credit bureaus and everything like that, but that's the main point that I wanted to go ahead and to share with everybody, is that we never sit back and actually think about this and put this in perspective. How these credit reporting agencies, not only are they making a profit off of us, because think about it, these are private companies. These are not government owned companies or anything. The government does not control these companies. And these companies, they move with such they move with such immorality, no respect, no ethics, no 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 type of type of regard for the laws that's even governing them, right? I mean, these private companies have laws like the Fair Credit Reporting Act, mainly, which was created back in the 70s to be able to govern these companies. Well, guess what? They still have no regard for them, because over 30% of individual, no, I'm sorry, over 70% of individuals in America has an error on their credit report. You think the credit reporting agencies are doing anything to be able to go ahead and lower that number? Absolutely not. How many of you guys have challenged an error on your credit report, disputed something on your credit report, and the credit reporting agencies just send you a letter back, a stall letter telling you the debt has been validated, or they think that your argument is frivolous, and it's a clear, unequivocal error that is showing that you're asserting or that you're arguing. And again, that to me, that right there is the biggest injustice out there, besides any type of capital crime. Because think about it again, these are companies that control every aspect of your life, ladies and gentlemen. These are for-profit companies here. Again, these are private companies that make money off people with bad credit. Let's not get it misconstrued. Let's not get it fucked up here, guys. These are companies that make money off of subprime borrowers, individuals with bad credit. That's why they operate the way that they do operate. It's very important that we understand that. It's not by mistake that over 70% of individuals in this country have a clear one or more errors on their credit report. Think about it. If only 20% of people had or errors on their credit report, or 10% of individuals had errors on their credit report, would the credit bureaus even be in business? Would they be some of the largest companies that's out there right now? All right. But before we go ahead and go into deeper that, we're going to go ahead and break down, again, the topic is bad credit worse than slavery, right? And we're going to go ahead and break down each and every point on how credit controls every point of your life. And we're going to break down each and every one of these. And at the end, then I want you guys to ask the question, damn, do I have a point? Am I making sense here or not? All right. Again, for those that are joining in, we're having just a personal conversation here, asking is bad credit worse than slavery? And again, my opinion is it actually does. But again, I want to hear from you guys. This is something that I want to go in and stimulate you guys' mind and want to get your feedback on it. All right. Well, first of all, let's talk about housing. Let's talk about housing, right? Because number one, if you're renting a house, which most people who have bad credit, that's what they're doing. They're renting just like most people in America, right? Having bad credit, automatically what that does to you, that forces you to pay 2, 3 times more in a security deposit, right? You may have to go ahead and live in an area that you normally wouldn't be, that you're not comfortable in because of bad credit. You priced out in certain areas and everything like that. Also, majority of landlords check credit anyway. We're talking about 60 to 70% of landlords nowadays check your credit just to see if you qualify for, or if they want you to go ahead and stay in there stay in their home or whatever the case may be, right? So the impact of what bad credit does, it forces families into lower quality housing, high crime neighborhoods, you know, having to pay more in security deposits and down payments. So if you really sum it all up, bad credit actually decides what zip code that you live in, and your zip code predicts your actual future. The zip code is a lot plays a huge impact on where your kids are able to go to school, how far you have to travel to be able to go ahead and take your children to school. Do you have to be able the grocery stores that you can go to, the neighborhood that you're able to interact in, right? In my opinion, that's a form of redlining right there. And for those who don't know what redlining is, redlining was a period where the banks had was not lending out to certain zip codes, right? Especially if you was in the low to moderate income areas, which of course we know that was the black and brown back in the day and everything like that. But there was a point in time where banks would not loan to the not give any home loans or favorable loans to these particular areas or zip codes until the government had to step in and pass laws to prevent that. But now let's flip it on its head. Although the government went ahead and passed laws to stop it, guess what? The credit bureaus has stepped in and replaced it. The credit bureaus have replaced it now simply with the 3-digit number that, again, we don't control, we can't audit. Right? We don't create it. So you see how credit has a huge impact just in the housing aspect, in your housing. Let's move on into transportation, right? Have you guys ever think about it? Have you guys ever went to a car dealership and you have poor credit? It is a nightmare, high anxiety, right? Not only are you able to be able, not only having bad credit restricts you on putting yourself in uh, uh, a reliable vehicle, sometimes putting you in a vehicle that is substandard or put you in a vehicle that is going to go ahead and, you know, not the best quality per se, right? But more importantly, having bad credit puts you in a situation where you have to pay 2, 3 times more for a car than somebody with good credit would normally have to pay for. It's just like having a credit card with a high interest rate. You have your credit affects how much interest that you're going to pay on that particular card, right? Same thing with a vehicle. So what does that impact? What does that force you to do? Go to buy here, pay here lots, right? Force you to be able to go ahead and go to a car dealership that's not, some of the prestigious or the or well-known car dealers. Restricts you from being able to go ahead and get a reliable car with with all the bells and whistles such as warranty or getting something that's a year or two old or even a brand new car just because you have bad credit. And ultimately, what that does, that impacts the family because you're going to have this car for a certain amount of time. Then it's going to break down on you. It's going to give you problems, or it's going to be able to go ahead and impact your insurance rate. It's also going to impact, um, how much you're paying for the car. That extra $200-300 a month in interest charges ends up being $3,000-4,000 a year, which could be money that you put back in your pocket, or help your family out. Well, guess what? Now that's being used to be just because of a 3-digit number, which we all going back to that same argument again, right? Because of a 3-digit number, you are unable to be able to go ahead and have the transportation that you would like to be able to go ahead and move ahead in life like you would want to. So so far we see how credit has went ahead and affect our housing because credit affects again determines the zip code that we live in, just like redlining. Credit affects our transportation, right? Just like back in the day where many of us we couldn't afford a car, right? Remember back in slavery days, a lot of black people, a lot of black folks didn't own a vehicle, right? Forced to use public transportations and everything like that. Guess what? Same cycle is going to this day. But again, it's not slavery that's doing it, it's the credit bureaus and a 3-digit number that's doing it now. Here's another one. You think bad credit affects you financially, it affects your career as well too. Oh, now we getting spicy. What's going on, Hakeem? I see you, man. What's going on? Thanks for joining in. Bad credit affects your career as well too. What job can you get? Most people don't even realize this. Over 50% of the lenders in this country does checks your credit as part of their background check when they do their employment screening. I'm gonna say this again. Over 50% of the lenders in this country include a credit check in their employment screening. So what does that mean? If you're trying to get into any type of job that requires any fiduciary responsibility, such as a banker, stockbroker, uh, if you're in the medical, if you're in the any type of job that requires moral turpitude, police officer, corrections officer, um, you name it, right? Any type of professional job is more than likely going to do a credit check or include a credit check in their hiring process. So what does that mean? Oh, wait a minute. I've gone to school or I've earned a degree for this career path that I'm choosing, but although I have bad credit because this is something that I wasn't taught in school on how to be financially literate or how to learn about credit literacy, and I just fall through the normal trap of getting into debt, like how the American system is designed for us to do when we get into early adulthood. Now I am unable to go ahead and get the career or pursue the career that I've went ahead and tried to obtain in this of me going through school for, or something that I've been dreaming about or pursuing through my entire adulthood life, right? Or my early adulthood life. So this is how credit even impacts a lot of people in the black and brown community, and they're not even aware of this. I've heard plenty of stories. As a matter of fact, I had a friend, he wanted to, he was applying to become a corrections officer. And he came to me to help fix his credit, right? And then during my consultation and everything like that, I said, well, what's your scores and everything? I looked at his credit report, end up seeing that his scores was like, 589 and everything like that. And really what was hurting him was he had some high utilization and everything like that, and a couple charge offs from some credit cards and some student loans that he fell behind and everything like that. But it was nothing major, no foreclosures, no bankruptcies, no repossessions or anything like that, right? But long story short, he was unable to he was unable to get a job the with the police force, because he was trying to become a corrections officer, simply because that his credit didn't meet the threshold of the standard that they had set to become to become a corrections officer. And which he was highly upset about this. And of course, we end up fixing his credit and everything like that. But what if there was a point that there was no credit repair, or we were unable to fix his credit, right? He would have chosen another career path simply because of a 3-digit number that he did not control, or being victim of a system that was designed to place us into. You guys are following me? Again, how many of you guys have went to school and you had any classes that was offered or required? We're not even offered as an elective or required as part of your graduation, where it taught you about financial or credit literacy. Probably not, right? I could guarantee you didn't. But for sure, this is something that you're going to have to deal with when you become an adult. It's for certain that you're going to need to understand about credit when you become an adult. You don't need to know, I don't listen about history and social studies and home ec, science and everything like that. Listen, I'm not part of the STEM program. I'm not looking to be a scientist. I'm not looking to go ahead and learn about biology. I'm not looking to learn. I'm not looking to be a history teacher or anything like that. So teaching me about all of these other required subjects, right? I understand English. I understand math. Okay, that's two two subjects that every student needs to take regardless, no matter what, right? But all these other classes that they require you to take as part of your graduation, I had that played no impact in my life. And I'm 44 years old. The 20 something years I've been an adult since I've left school had no impact in my life. But you could ask me, did they teach me anything about credit or financial literacy? Absolutely not. And that right there has the biggest impact in your life. So with them knowing this, is this intentional? Is it intentional to go ahead and have majority of students go ahead and go into adulthood without knowing credit and financial literacy? Which is why, again, over 70% of individuals have errors on their credit report. Is it why that three private companies literally control every aspect of our credit, how they make money from individuals from bad credit? I'm not trying to say it's a conspiracy. I'm just laying out the facts to you guys and have you draw your own conclusions. That's it. But it's very important that we understand the aspects of credit and how important that it is, because guess what? A lot of us are still stuck into this illusion, this matrix, this false reality that, oh, my life is determined, my the way my life is, or the rat race that I'm stuck in, or the hardships that I'm experiencing right now has anything to do outside of the world of credit. Listen, you end up fixing your credit, you end up having a 750 credit score with a fundable profile. That is going to change your life overnight, ladies and gentlemen. There's no question about it. If you had a seven, if two things were to happen in your life, if you were to reverse that back the hands of time again, by if you were taught credit and financial literacy before you graduated high school, was able to take that skill set as you go through early adulthood, before you got your first credit card, car loan, your first apartment and everything like that, right? In your early 20s. If you was able to take the skill set of having a true, intense and profound knowledge of credit and financial literacy, as well as being able to build and maintain a 750 credit score with that skill set, what would your life be right now? Would you have made the same mistakes that you have made in your early adulthood? I guarantee you not. I guarantee you, by you, if you was to have those two things, right? The financial literacy and the credit score to back it up, you'd be able to go ahead and pursue, you'd be able to pursue the entrepreneurial dreams or endeavors that you wanted to pursue, right? You'd be able to go ahead and put yourself in position to live in the zip code that you want, that without you'd be able to live in the zip code that you would want to without having to go through the hardship of having subprime credit. You'd be able to go to school comfortably if that's what you chose to go to college comfortably and know that the career path that you're going to choose, you would automatically be you would be able to go ahead and not only be in a position of being accepted for the position, right? But you would be in the equal playing field of anybody else who had the same type of credit score with you. You wouldn't know what a buy here, pay here car lot is. You wouldn't know what having to pay in high premiums for insurance is. You wouldn't know about having, renting your first apartment, having to pay, 2, 3 months security deposit, having to put an apartment in somebody's name or anything like that. You wouldn't know all of these things. A lot of the decisions that you make, matter of fact, you probably be in a position to buy your first home when you was 22 years old or 21 years old. You probably would be able to go ahead and the business that you wanted to start that you've been putting off so long, you'd be able to go to the bank and borrow 5, 10, $15,000. You'd be able to go ahead and get that business credit card instead of, risking your personal savings or asking family and friends to be able to go ahead and bootstrap your dreams, or you bootstrapping it yourself with your savings, right? You'd be able to get into investments. You'd be able to go ahead and get into real estate investments, get into these other income producing investments and everything like that. But guess what? What has held us back is being financially illiterate or being economically deprived because of not understanding the credit system, which is the most powerful tool in America. So again, we're having this discussion here not to be able to go ahead and just, you know, uh bring trepidation to anybody or anything like that in regards to, oh man, what is this guy, spreading fear porn or anything like that. No, it's just simply I'm expressing the truth behind of what this country is built upon since slavery, or even, you know I would even say it since the inception of this country, right? And again, back when the laws was put in place to regulate the credit bureaus, because they was operating like the wild west before they do it before the Fair Credit Reporting Act was enacted. They still have no regard, no morals, no ethics to the laws that's passed against them. You guys think, and it's crazy because despite, criminals out there and everything like that doing all type of, crazy crimes out there, such as Medicare fraud and whatever the case may be, the credit bureaus are the biggest scumbags that are out there. And they operate with pure impunity. So again, I didn't want to stay long. We already been on here for quite some time and everything like that. Listen, this discussion is just, I probably won't even keep this live up because it's outside of the subject matter that we really kind of like. I normally would like to talk about it, everything like that, and it's kind of like we're coming from left field. But again, it's Saturday night. I didn't expect a big audience today, but I do want to go ahead and keep the energy going in the aspect of, in 2026 I want to be able to, make sure I bring value to the guys. I want to be present for you guys. I want to be able to go ahead and show that, listen, 2026 we are looking to help over 100 entrepreneurs build $1 million business this year, and I believe we're going to do it. I have the blueprint, I have the framework, I have the commitment, I have the dedication, I have the mindset. Is basically, one of the requirements for me to do so is, of course, making sure that I show up each and every week for you guys here, right? So I have some big things coming down the pipeline and everything like that. Guys, I hope you're super excited about it and everything. One of the things that we do have is, of course, a free masterclass this Thursday, 7 o'clock, January 15th, where I'm going to be discussing, where I'm going to be, hold on, where I'm going to be discussing, where I'm going to be discussing how to be able to go ahead and get $50,000 in fund, 25,000 or more in funding, and how to launch your own credit and funding fintech company. All right. You definitely don't want to miss this out. It's absolutely free. This is one of the ways how you can be able, guys, to escape the trap of or the rat race, right? Of what the credit bureaus have us under. All right. Also, I do have a free school community that you guys can join. As you guys can see, it's school, the Blueprint Movement community. You can check it out. We have two communities. We have the free community and we have the paid community. It's only $49. Listen, if you want to be able to go ahead and get game on how to level up, how to improve your credit, how to be able to go ahead and build business, get business credit, get business funding, definitely check out the school community as well, too. All right. But we're gonna wrap this up a little bit because again, it is Saturday night. I do plan on doing a few things tonight with the family. I got my kids. Some of you guys probably hear them in the background and everything like that. Yes, I am a father. Okay. Father of four. I got two young adults, that's one in high school, one in college, and I got two little ones as well too. I have stepkids as well, but a total of six, but four of mine are biological. But uh and my goal is to make sure that they don't end up falling into the same trap that the system has designed them for. Not putting them in the same situation that I had to go through. Oh, trust me, when I before I understood credit, I had to go through it, bro. I had to go through it. It was about, of course, by the grace of God, he put me, he directed me to say that, hey, this is gonna be your career, understanding credit, teaching it, educating of it, edifying it. And I thank him every single day for putting me in this direction and putting this skill set and this knowledge and within me, because to me, again, this right here has the biggest impact and can make the biggest impact within our community. Not to be disparaging to any entrepreneur, any field out there or anything like that, but you know I could have stole anything. I could have got into any type of other field or anything like that. But discussing credit, discussing about how to be able to go ahead, being financial literacy, credit literacy, entrepreneurship. I mean, think about it. Who doesn't need capital? It doesn't matter what field that you're in, you need capital. And to be able to access capital, you need to be able to go ahead and have good credit. It's a cycle, period. So if we want to be able to change the narrative of our community, change the narrative of the generations and the culture that we're in, it's very important that we understand the importance of credit. It's very important that we understand that and the impact that it has in our everyday lives. Again, credit is the most powerful tool you can possess in this country, guys. The whole system is ran on credit. The whole system is ran by three bureaus who controls a three-digit number that controls every aspect of our life. Again, today is Saturday. You right now you probably have went through your entire life or went through a good portion of your life having a sub 600 or sub 650 credit score. 650 will get you, 650 is all right. But let's just say a sub 600 credit score. And because of that sub 600 credit score, you're unable to go ahead and purchase a home, or being able to put in an apartment in your name, or being able to go ahead and live in a certain type of zip code. You're unable to go ahead and get a decent vehicle, right? And you're unable to go ahead and have a decent monthly payment of this vehicle. You're unable to go ahead and get a business loan. You're unable to get access to capital, right? You're unable to access any type of opportunities when it comes to generating wealth. You're unable to be able to go ahead and accumulate wealth, because all of your disposable income is going to interest payments, is going to higher utility payments, is going to higher health insurance payments, all because of bad credit. Sit back and think about this for a second. But if you were to wake up tomorrow, Sunday, again, we said this, wake up tomorrow, Sunday, and let you wake up with a 750 credit score and a profile to match, all those problems go away. May not go away overnight, but in due time, all those problems go away, or they become resolved. Or solved, I'm sorry. No more having to be limited on where you and your family could live at. No more having the failed dreams of getting into home ownership. No more of having to go to a car dealership and being denied for a decent vehicle. No more of being restricted to be able to generate wealth. All of these problems go away. All because, again, of the narrative of having bad credit versus having good credit. All right. So with that being said, again, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for everybody that was able to go ahead and tune. I'm gonna come on live tomorrow, Sunday at 8 p.m. again. I may come on at 7, but I am going to schedule it. But again, definitely check out the free masterclass that I'm hosting this Thursday at 7 p.m. It's going to be co-hosted by my girl Kristen. I'm super excited about this. We're going to talk about how you can get funded, how to be able to launch a fintech credit and funding company, all within 45 days. All within 45 days, guys. You'll learn this particular skill set. So listen, if you're tired of living a 9 to 5 life, if you're tired of you know, uh, 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 not being able to go ahead and help build wealth for yourself. If you want to learn the blueprint on how I was able to go ahead, build, launch, and grow a 7-figure credit as well as funding business, I'm going to be breaking down. This is the first time I'm doing this, guys. Probably the only time I'm doing this. So you definitely don't want to miss out. Listen, the link will be in my bio. Go on my Instagram page, Blueprint Mastermind. The link is in the bio to go ahead and register if you missed it. But again, the website is www.newageofcredit.com. Also, we have a school community. We have a free community as well as a paid community. If you don't want to make the investment into the $49, which I'm we're not going to get into it. We do have a free community you could try out. Go ahead and poke your head around and see what we're all about and everything like that. But I promise you, you end up getting into the paid community because we have a lot of awesome benefits and features within our community. But other than that, man, thanks for tapping in. Thanks for tuning in. Instagram family, I appreciate you. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook family, appreciate you guys as well, too. I'm going to learn how to get up on TikTok, man. TikTok hasn't been my flavor for quite some time, but you know what? It is what it is, right? But tomorrow we're going to go ahead and talk about, let me see, what's the top? What we're going to talk about tomorrow? We're going to talk about how you can get SBA funding. SBA funding, which again, the SBA, Small Business Administration, checks your credit when you apply for the loan. So we are going to talk about how credit is important. It's going to be, but let's save that for tomorrow, right? But other than that, man, you guys have a good night. Hope your 2026 is going awesome, and let's tap in tomorrow.